Welcome to the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen, covering the week that was in professional wrestling. And hello once again, everybody, to another edition of the Juice Box. I am Juice Springsteen, and this week, you know what time it is. It's Crown Jewel prediction time here on the Juice Box. But it's going to be me, myself, and I. It's going to be a solo Juice Box prediction show here for Crown Jewel. Hopefully Josh Eisenberg can get back into the fray next month for Survivor Series, but it's going to be me. What about me? What about Juice? That is going to be the special today. Before we tap in, at Juicy Steen on Twitter, at Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram, you can listen to the Juice Box on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, juicysteen.podbean.com, or at Juicy Steen on YouTube, and that's where you can find all of the Juicebox episodes, including the most recent episode of the SIP series featuring Conrad Thompson, audio and video included there for all of you guys to enjoy. Sat down with him for about an hour and a half. Great talk with Conrad. Appreciate his time. We'll be on the Shining Wizards podcast this Monday, 7 o'clock. I will be on their feed talking probably about this show, Crown Jewel. Probably discuss a little Halloween Havoc as it is October. So that'll be fun as well. And actually, earlier this week, I was featured on the Wrestle Purists YouTube channel alongside Andrew Baydala and Slick Flair, Jordan Carter. We did kind of a mishmash of an episode where we did Crown Jewel talk, John Cena retirement talk, all in attendance talk, and more, where on Wrestle Purists, which have been around for a few years now, you know, kind of heading the game as one of the content creators and content creation spaces in the IWC, they are going to be housing a lot of Andrew's work going forward, and I know Andrew and Jordan are going to have a time slot at 2:30 on Tuesdays, and it does look like Drew and Juice will be taking place on Thursday afternoons at 2:30 Eastern. So check us out over there on Wrestle Purists. Follow them on Twitter at Wrestle Purists, and of course subscribe to them on YouTube. So that is pretty much the current, happenings here with Juice and the Juice Box, as it were. But let's dive in. This is going to be the Crown Jewel prediction show. It's just me. So this is going to be concise, potentially 15 or 20 minutes. I don't anticipate it being that long. We've got a Triple H special here for this PLE. 5 matches set. This is in Australia. This is the 7th Crown Jewel event, which is pretty interesting. I remember the first one, and I was like, man, this isn't a unique name for a show, and what's it going to be? And that was the first Saudi show, and now look where we are at. This one's taking place in Australia, in Perth, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is going to be a fun one to wake up for. We've got SmackDown also happening super early in the East Coast of the United States. Monday morning Raw, 8 a.m. on the East Coast. So the Australia takeover here for Crown Jewel and the other shows, SmackDown and Raw. But yeah, this Crown Jewel, the 7th ever. We've got 5 matches. 2 championship, quote-unquote, matches for the Crown Jewel Championship, which was won last year by Liv Morgan and by Cody Rhodes, where they got a unique championship title belt, and they also got a championship ring, the Crown Jewel ring, kind of like a Super Bowl ring, where the belts are remaining on display at the WWE Experience, the attraction in Riyadh. And now we get to see 2 new matchups for those Crown Jewel championships, as the rules for those championships are pretty much champion versus champion, the world champion versus WWE champion, and the women's world champion versus the WWE women's champion. So those 2 matches are the, quote, title matches. We've also got a street fight grudge match, as it were, a tag team women's match, and the John Cena match. Let's tap into all of it right now. Let's start off with the women's tag team match. Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, taking on Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. This has been a very personal feud. This has been a lot of mist happening during this feud. And I got to be honest, and I might roll this way for both matches featuring Australian talent on this show. Normally, I would say that the Australians or the hometown or home country wrestlers under the WWE banner would lose. But that being said, I am taking Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to win against the Kabuki Warriors. I could see a scenario where the Kabuki Warriors get a slight edge, get the heat on Rhea and Io. But I could also see them getting the heat after the match if they lose to Rhea and Io. I just think Rhea getting a big pinfall, hitting the Riptide, having a lot of fans there for her in her home country would be awesome to see. She's going to get one hell of a reaction, that's for sure. So I'm taking Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I do think, though, that these 4 women in some form or fashion could be involved in the women's War Games taking place next month at Survivor Series. Let's tap into the next match. This is the Australian street fight. Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed. These 2 going at it once again. I kind of think this could open the show. We'll see. Either this or Cena AJ Styles. However, if it were up to me, which it's not, I would have Cena and AJ close the show as the main event. But Roman, Bronson Reed, Australian street fight, not sure what that means, but I'm sure we'll see some interesting Australian-based flavor to this match in the street fight. I know that when we were doing some predictions earlier on the Wrestle Purist channel, Jordan had mentioned, the shoe thing that Bronson Reed's been doing with Roman, where he wears the shoes of Roman Reigns that he stole around his neck. The tribal thief. Could Roman do the same with Bronson Reed's boots? Could we see a beer drinking spot out of a shoe here? That's an Australian thing. Outside of that, I'm really not sure what an Australian street fight could entail. But I think Roman and Bronson are 2 strong enough combatants to bring out the best in whatever gimmick match they have. I'm taking Bronson Reed in this match. I have a feeling we're going to see some interference, potentially by Braun Breaker, potentially one of the Usos. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a heel turn or anything like that, but it could be an accidental interference. But I think Bronson Reed takes this match, gets the win, and really stakes his claim as a formidable foe on Raw. I'd love to see Roman and Braun Breaker soon. I don't know if that becomes out of this, if this is the vehicle for that. But Bronson Reed, I do believe, should get the win here. And, either way, I think, again, with the last match included, I'm going to put this in the same realm. I think Roman and Bronson Reed are going to be a part of the War Games next month at Survivor Series. So, to me, that would make sense for Bronson to get the win. Maybe you have a new member of the Vision, your Austin Theories, somebody else we're not even thinking of. But I do anticipate Bronson Reed getting the win, but this not being the final interaction between these 2 men at all. Let's go to the first of the Crown Jewel Championship matches. Let's talk the women. Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton. Crown Jewel Championship, Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. This is a unique match. I think the intrigue of the style that Tiffany brings versus the style Stephanie brings will be unique. I think it'll be fascinating, quite honestly. And I kind of think Stephanie Vaquer is going to walk away with this. I know that there's a ring involved, and Tiffany Stratton's character would lend itself to having a bling accessory. She had the briefcase. She's got the title. Why not a ring? However, they promote this Crown Jewel title. They promote the Super Bowl-esque ring for this show, and then they have it after the show for promotionals and all that. But then that's really it. I don't foresee them continuously bringing a ring to the shows. Now, I could be wrong, and they could really lean into it. And if that's the case, that would lean heavily for a Tiffany Stratton victory. But I don't see that as the case. I see Stephanie Vaquer continuing her ascent as one of the top women in the industry, let alone on Raw, and winning the Crown Jewel Championship. I think it's best for business. I think it's the best way to promote her and get her character even further out on upper echelon, of the card. Outside of that, I think, Tiffany has been doing a great job. I'm not sure if either of these two would end up in War Games, but, I think the match itself is going to be a fascinating one. Two different styles for sure. And I don't really see any chance at an interference here in this match between these two, but I do see Stephanie Vaquer winning, and I feel like that might be an unpopular opinion, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Let's go to the men's Crown Jewel Championship match. Cody Rhodes, who won the inaugural Crown Jewel Championship last year at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, taking on Seth freaking Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, on Raw. I think this is short and sweet. I think Seth Rollins should absolutely win this match, and I'll tell you why. Cody Rhodes, I think, is at least 3-0 against Seth Rollins. I'm not sure, you count any other matches they've been in, tag or otherwise, because, of course, the match happened at WrestleMania, the tag match. They were together, and I'm not sure if there's any other instances where you could put that in, but, to me, 3-0 in the singles matches when Cody came back to WWE back in 2022, including the WrestleMania match and the Hell in a Cell torn pec match. But that being said, I think this is the perfect way to get Seth Rollins a win over Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes doesn't have to lose the title for that to happen. And then you can have Seth Rollins gloat. Seth Rollins can really put forth, hey, I beat the WWE champion. I'm the Vision. I've got a ring. I've got this other title. And Paul Heyman, of course, can really, hammer that home as well. Even if we don't see a new member for this, the Vision in the street fight, this could be the other place to see it. This could be a way to get Cody a loss and, end up having Seth Rollins get the big win without it really hurting Cody, whether it's interference by a Braun Breaker or a new member. But I absolutely see that happening. I see Seth freaking Rollins getting the victory against Cody Rhodes. Let's go to what I think should be the main event of this show. A match that back in 2016, 2017 was arguably, no matter where it took place, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, was always and amazing match. And now we get to see it in their twilight of their careers, where Cena is retiring in 2025. AJ Styles has hinted he might retire in 2026. Not sure where all that actually lies, but Cena and AJ Styles arguably have two of the best matches of the modern era. And I think the Royal Rumble where Cena wins his 16th world title could be a part of that for sure, back in 2017. And to me, I don't think it matters who wins this match. I think that, there is no story outside of these two having one of the better feuds in a while. I think Cena, throughout his career with, the CM Punks, Randy Orton, Edge, Roman even, this little run with Cody. John Cena's best feud he's ever had in the last 10 years, like his last really great feud, was with AJ Styles. And I think that's the perfect way to kind of close that chapter, is by having these two in a one-on-one match. They set it up via Twitter, and to me that's frustrating because, Cody and Seth Rollins have wrestled 3 times, and this is not even a match for anything other than the Crown Jewel title, and they've got a huge video package to, promote it. And Cena and AJ had arguably better matches than Seth and Cody, and they've gotten their match promoted first through Twitter, then video packages. But with the time running out on John Cena's career, one would think they would go above and beyond to really, really drive home the magnitude of this AJ Styles match. Yet I feel like they haven't done that. And after this show ends, AJ Styles and Cena have their match. We got 4 more John Cena shows. We're going to have a Raw in the TD Garden, a Raw at Madison Square Garden, Survivor Series in San Diego, and then Saturday night's main event, December 13th, his final match in Washington, D.C. So, with less and less time for Cena to have his best matches, or the potential for his final matches to have any sort of substance, it's pretty crazy that the heel run that they attempted, that I do agree was exciting to start, has kind of hampered them, has put them in a corner, has really hurt what could have been one of the better retirement runs in the history of professional wrestling. But here we are, and I think that these two will have a banger. I think Cena and AJ Styles will tear the house down. I think if it's any sort of match like they had, like they had in 2017, or if it's anything like the Logan Paul Cena match, or the Cody Rhodes Cena match from SummerSlam, if this match is anything like that, I think everything will be shipshape. And I think the fans will be thrilled. I think the office will be thrilled. And I think Cena will be happy that it happened. So, not sure where it leads after. I'm not sure if this match bleeds into something else. I don't know if, the next match for Cena will be, talked about immediately, or if someone will come out after this match and we'll get a hint of who's next. Because there's 4 potential matches left. His final match could be War Games match as well. That could be his final singles match. He could have a final match at Survivor Series being War Games. I'd wager one, if not both, of the Raw appearances could be open challenge matches. And that's it. There's nothing else. And I don't see him wrestling into January. So make the most. You got to make the most of these last matches. And I personally think Cena and AJ Styles will. Ultimately, though, will Cena win? This has been an interesting topic. And I know that the time-honored tradition is, You go out with, your back flat on the mat, looking at the lights, but John Cena might not have a say. They might want him to win. They might want him to go out as a winner. Sting got to do it. Flair went out as a loser in WWE. Of course, he wrestled in TNA and then had his wonderful win, the dramatic win in the Ric Flair's last match, in that tag match. So he got to kind of reconcile that. But not every time can, retirements happen so swiftly and so smoothly where you plan out your last shows and you can either go out a winner or a loser pretty much based on whatever you want or whatever you think is dictated. And now with Cena and AJ Styles, I could see Cena losing this match and, continuing to lose up until his final match and ended up winning his final match. I could also see him winning this match and getting momentum going forth. Maybe even tapping into AJ Styles if he wants to have him on a War Games team come November. But ultimately, I'd like to see AJ Styles win this match, so that's what I'm going to predict. I would love to see AJ Styles win this match. I don't have a problem with it. I think AJ Styles could get a little bit of a boost, get put a little higher on the card if they were so inclined to continue that after this match. Not sure what's next for him, but I think a win over John Cena in likely their final match together would be beneficial to AJ, as he still has at least a year and change left. So ultimately, yeah, give me AJ Styles to win. Give me Stephanie Vaquer to win. I got Seth Rollins winning the Crown Jewel Championship, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky winning, and Bronson Reed winning his match against Roman Reigns in the Australian Street Fight. 5 matches, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia. Looking forward to watching it. Hopefully AJ Styles and Cena close the night. I think it lends itself to that. And I'm very curious as if we're going to get any surprises. Do we get a new member of the Vision? Will we get some sort of return, a surprise in any other match? What will become of the Vision if no one joins? Does Bronson get a big victory? Does Seth get a big victory and no one joins? Are they doing it without any extra help? Who knows? But I'm interested to see what happens. Crown Jewel this weekend. We've got the Wrestle Dream AEW show next weekend. A lot of great wrestling here, there, and everywhere. As always, you can find me here, there, and everywhere at Juicy Steen on Twitter, at Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram, at Juicy Steen on YouTube. If you listen to the show on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts via iTunes, please rate and review the show. Really helps the show grow. Amazon Music and juicysteen.podbean.com are all the other places you can find the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to check out the Shining Wizards podcast this Monday to listen to yours truly. Hop in for the little Juice Box segment on their program. October 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Search Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast on Twitter. Apron Bump. I did the Apron Bump this past week. We talked Fall Brawl 1997 as a part of his review of that program. So go find his show at Apron Bump on Twitter. Search Apron Bump on YouTube as well for the video portion of that podcast. And Drew and Juice hopping along, getting on the Wrestle Purists ship. And you can find us over there at Wrestle Purists. Drew also has a show Tuesdays, 2:30 p.m. talking with Jordan. And our show, Drew and Juice, will be 2:30 on Thursday afternoons during the Wrestle Purists live stream. So I'm doing what we can here on the Juice Box, getting the name out there, keeping the Juice Box going, running this little machine as far as we can, doing the best to bring the latest and greatest in current and classic professional wrestling to you out there, the fan, because the Juice Box is for the fans by a fan. I am Juice Springsteen. Enjoy your Crown Jewel, 8 a.m. if you're on the East Coast, 5 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. Hell, if you're in the UK, you got a great afternoon show to look forward to, and a lot more. So, looking forward to the weekend. Enjoy the weekend of pro wrestling, and I will see you guys next week for another edition of The Juice Box. That was The Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to subscribe to The Juice Box wherever you listen to podcasts.